Alright, now defensively, the Vikings are going to run a 4-3 defense, and you think their offense was tough. This defense is pretty tough as well. And we're going to start with the defensive end, Karl Eller, which was a part of the Purple People Eaters of that, I'm pretty sure, late 60s, 70s defense. Fantastic, just overall, yes, you want Karl Eller. Karl Eller, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, Hall of Famer. A big reason of their success was because Karl Eller was a part of that defensive line, and a big dude. Value is definitely all the way up. I guarantee you he had 120 plus sacks. There was no recording of it, unfortunately. But this is a guy that's played 225 games, the guy that's played in Minnesota, except that 1 year out of his 16-year career where he played in Seattle. But this is a guy. This is the man that you want as the first line of defense over here, and it just gets even better. So you're in for a treat. Right next to Karl is going to be defensive tackle Alan Page. Alan Page is by far top 5, one of my favorite defensive tackles of all time. To just watch, to physically look at from videos. You know, I'm a fairly young person. Well, I am young, so I don't really know much about that time. I wasn't around then, but seeing videos, he was a scary man. Like, literally, you did not want to mess with Alan Page. Alan Page he was a big guy, and he was going to get after it, and he was going to pretty much swallow you in whole. Like, he really was a scary man, and now he's a judge. So retired football player, became a judge. Just an interesting fact. But yeah, no, he is cornerstone of that Purple People Eater defense, and longtime Minnesota Viking. Went to Chicago for a bit, but he played combined 215 games or 218 games. He had 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 23 fumble recoveries, 2 for touchdowns again. That's the only thing that really has been recorded. 3 safeties as well. This is a guy that definitely had 1,000 plus tackles and definitely had to have had at least 100 sacks. This is a guy that's it's a great clog control guy. This guy's going to definitely be a big reason for their success defensively. So now it just gets better because you got Karl Eller and Alan Page on the one side. On the other side, we start with John Randle. John Randle is another Hall of Fame defensive tackle, defensive end. Doesn't matter where you put him. Put him at defensive tackle. 7-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro. Played for Seattle for 3 years, but mostly a Minnesota Viking. He's had 137 career sacks, over 500 tackles, 29 forced fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries, 1 for a touchdown. Had an interception. He's played in 219 games. This is a guy that has experience and is a leader and is a Hall of Famer. Again, another Hall of Fame type guy that was just nuts. Like, honestly, he really wanted you to think he was going to destroy you when you got to that line. So you want feistiness, you want aggressiveness. This is that perfect defensive line for it. It really is. And now we close on the line. It's going to be Jared Allen, defensive end. Played for the Chiefs, played for the Bears, played for the Panthers, and played for the Minnesota Vikings mostly. And in that span, as a Viking, he had 85.5 sacks, over 300 tackles. It goes on 9 fumble recoveries, 16 forced fumbles, 26 pass deflections, 4 interceptions. Overall, he had 136 career sacks. Again, another guy that's going to give you what you need. He's going to get to the QB. He's going to get to the ball. He's going to get to wherever you need to. He's going to wreak havoc. This is one of my favorite defensive lines because Karl Eller, Alan Page, John Randle, and Jared Allen all together in one line. That's scary. I don't know what to think about that. That's a lot. It's a lot to intake for all these teams. I guarantee you, literally all these all-time teams in this all-time league, this is the matchup they prepare for because these are the 4 of the guys that can kill you, and it's going to be tough for anyone. Now you need the linebacker, and obviously we've got 3 linebackers there, and the linebacker on the outside, inside, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say outside because since it is a 3-4 or 4-3. Yeah, Roy Winston played in the 60s and 70s. He played in 191 games, all with Minnesota, and just a valuable guy that I think is going to get it done. He's been able to get multiple interceptions, multiple fumble recoveries, and he's going to be that guy. No Pro Bowls, nothing like that. It's unfortunate for that, but I think he's going to get it done. He's definitely going to. He's gonna get it done, and plus he doesn't have as much pressure because that front four is going to swallow up a lot of what you need on the running side. Now the middle linebacker is going to be Scott Studwell. Scott Studwell is a two-time Pro Bowler, a guy that played in the 70s to pretty much the 90 season, a guy that played over 200 games, a guy that's had interceptions, a guy that's had fumbles and fumble recoveries, and he's been able to, sacks and everything. Just one of those guys. Like I said, him, Chad Greenway has always been a pretty favorite of mine, but I'm gonna pick him. He's had better numbers. He's been there the longest. Been to the Pro Bowl, so we know we can trust him at that area of the ball, and I think he'll be fine. And he'll be fine. I hope you didn't think I forgot about Chris Doleman. I wasn't going to put him at defensive end because that defensive line is nasty as it is. I can't put a fifth defensive guy on the line. But I am going to put Chris Doleman at the linebacker position on the outside because he is going to get to the QB. He has 150 and a half career sacks. He's had pretty much 1,000 tackles. He has numerous fumble recoveries. He's had numerous forced fumbles, and he's been able to pick off the ball. He's played many games. He's a Hall of Famer. He's done a lot. 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. Most importantly, another Hall of Famer on this defense. And he was a part of the all 1990s decade team. Overall, he is a defensive end, but having him at that outside linebacker position, it doesn't hurt. I think he's going to excel in it, and I think it's going to be scary to see another guy that can completely destroy you on this side of the football. Alright, now as part of the secondary, we're going to start with cornerback Antoine Winfield, a 3-time Pro Bowler, a guy that's played for Buffalo for 5 years and played in Minnesota for 9, a guy that's racked up his share of interceptions, most of them being with Minnesota, playing in 119 games in Minnesota with 21 interceptions, 27 his career total, 2 of them for touchdowns, which is his entire career total. Having 73 pass deflections, his career total is 103. 11 forced fumbles, 9 fumble recoveries for 2 touchdowns there, and a little over 700 tackles in his career. Again, it's a good corner to have, and it's an underrated corner to have for sure. He's never been that guy to really pick off too many balls, but this is gonna be fun. I think Antoine Winfield will get it done. I think he'll definitely be very effective out there on that. At that side of the football. I think they definitely enjoy having. I think they definitely enjoy having him as a corner on this defense. Now on the other side, it's going to be Bobby Bryant. For Bobby Bryant, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He played for Minnesota his entire career. He had 51 career interceptions. Played in 161 games. Had 3 touchdowns with those 51 interceptions. He had 13 fumbles, 14 fumble recoveries. Just overall a leader and very important. So I think, if anything, Bobby Bryant for sure is one of those more important corners. But at the same time, don't give less credit to Winfield. I think both of them will do a fantastic job. Now, the free safety is going to be Paul Krause. Paul Krause is definitely one of my ultimate favorite free safeties. One of my favorite players in the NFL ever. A guy that I'm pretty sure he is the leader in interceptions at 81. He's a Hall of Famer. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Played for the Washington Redskins his first 4 years of his career. Then ended in Minnesota for the last 12. Again, 53 career interceptions in Minnesota there. 172 games played. 2 of them for touchdowns of interceptions. 2 fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries. 2 of them for touchdowns. Again, there's not much I can say. 81 interceptions. He leads career interceptions all time. So to have that guy there, right there in the back end of your defense, that's very big. So it just comes to show that this defense doesn't have many weaknesses to them. All right, now strong safety, we're going to have Joey Browner, 6-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro, A guy that's had 37 picks. He's been in Minnesota all 9 out of his 10 years. So not all of it, but you know what I mean. 145 games that he played career-wise, 9.5 sacks. We can get after it. And again, a guy that can get after it on this team, that can get to the QB, that can sack him, get some pressure on it. Again, there's not much weakness from this team. So yeah, there's a lot of upside on it. Now, the kicker is going to be Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson is one of the best kickers of all time, 4-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro. He's been everywhere. He really has. Definitely played more for Pittsburgh, but played for Minnesota for 5 years, and he barely missed 84.5% field goal wise, at 109 field goals. Again, his whole career has been 538 field goals that he's made. He barely missed as well. He had a 99.1% extra point percentage. So fantastic, man. Just awesome. And yeah, all I can say is that, you know, whatever you want to say, he is their best kicker in Minnesota Vikings history. So he's going to do just fine. And yeah, it's going to be great. Now, punter Chris Kluwe, he will be the punter of the Minnesota Vikings. Pretty much was a part of this team from 2005 to 2012. Yeah, a guy that's pretty tall. Pretty tall dude. You know, like I said, had a short career, but was able to have an average punt of 44.4. His longest one was 70. Only got blocked once in his career. Had like 600 plus punts, over 27,000 punt yards. So overall, you know, it's the best punter they got right there. It's the best choice that they got, and yeah, I think it'll definitely work out in the end. Their special teams are one of the best right now. Now the return man, it's going to be Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin has been, well, he's been pretty great. He's been pretty fantastic thus far. One-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion. Just overall has been fantastic. Unfortunately, he kind of messed up a tad when he was, you know, having all those issues, all those injuries, and some locker room issues there. So he didn't really last as much as he wanted to last. But in the end, Percy Harvin was pretty solid. He made a great impact in Seattle, and he made a great impact in Minnesota. The days he was in Minnesota for those 4 years, had 114 kick return yards for 3,183 kick return yards, 114 returns, sorry, for 5 touchdowns. The longest one was 105. His average punt was 27.9. So this is a guy that he was fast, he was quick, and they can use him as a slot guy if they really wanted to. And that's what makes it dangerous, is that he can be, you know, he's definitely going to be the fastest guy in this team. So, you know, having Percy Harvin there, having his speed, it's gonna be dangerous. All right, and lastly, we're gonna have Coach Bud Grant. Coach Bud Grant is a Hall of Famer. Definitely the best choice for a coach from Minnesota. I mean, he led him to an NFL championship before the NFL championship into a Super Bowl, of course. Lost in the Super Bowl there, and then he got him to a Super Bowl again in '73 and '74 and '76, all NFC champions. When the AFL and NFL merger, you know, became the AFC NFC. And so, yeah, 4 Super Bowls he got him to a fantastic place. 22 games in the playoffs, 10-12 record, which is unfortunate. Didn't get a Super Bowl, which is unfortunate, but was able to get a 62.1 win percentage in the regular season, 158 total career wins in Minnesota, 96 losses, 5 ties. A guy that barely lost, a guy that definitely made, the guy that definitely made what is now possible of the Minnesota Vikings team. He made the Minnesota Vikings team so relevant and such a great team, and they had so many opportunities to win, and a lot of it is his coaching. So